The purpose of the advertising is to do an ad that gets you there, but the job of the dealership is not to do what the advertising says. The job of the dealership is to have the advertising get you there and then do what you want. Let me give you a specific example. Have any of you ever seen an ad that says there's a big sale going on at a car dealership? How about 100% of the time? Okay. Did you know when the highest profit time per dealer usually at a car sale is? I mean, at a car dealership, it is during a sale. We hear the word sale and we assume that means save money. It doesn't at all. The job of the car dealership is to get you down there with that advertising and to put you into what is called a chute. You guys have been on cattle ranches. You go out there, the chute is being led off the slaughter, they're put through a chute that gets them onto the truck to take them down to the slaughterhouse. It's kind of what it's like at times at the car dealership. The job is to get you there and to put you through, as we're going to see, a group of specific steps of meeting, greeting, qualifying, setting you in on a car, resetting you in on a car, etc. That's the job of that advertising, and it's done all the time. About 11 o'clock, there's new staff training going on. At this time, there are a lot of new car salespeople in the car dealership for a lot of reasons. No one's making any money, and the old ones are out of there. Or people are being fired left and right because of the pressure to sell. Very, very tough time to be. So the training that is done is very interesting. This is and I might tell you this right up front. Around here, you're not dealing with crooked car dealerships. You're dealing with very good car dealerships. They're honest people. They've got jobs like you do, and they're trying to make a living in every way they can. But at those very same dealerships, the only thing you're going to hear in the sales meeting is, what can we do to get them to buy today, whether they need to buy or not? How can you raise the profit we're making today? We need to make more money. How can we switch them to a more profitable financing? We must get up our financing profit. You must remember that the job of the car dealership is never to say something designed to help you, unfortunately, out there. About 5 o'clock, about noon, the 5th spot delivery takes place. This is going to happen to you at most dealerships here. And tell me what is wrong with this. You go to the dealership, and they're talking, and they're real nice to you, and they say, Mr. and Ms. Smith, we know you. They don't say we know you because they've already collected enormous amounts of data, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. We know you, and we know you're in a hurry and a little bit nervous. Why don't we just fill out this contract on the terms you want to pay for the car? Fill out what you want for your old car, and why don't you take the car home? You got it. Got your price. Sounds pretty good to you. No fighting. They send you the car at the terms you want. They give you the payment you want. They give you the interest rate you want. They give you what you wanted for your old trade, and you go home and you're happy. What's wrong with that? Nothing for a week. And the phone rings, and it's the sales manager. And they say, Mr. and Ms. Smith, we had a little problem. We unfortunately couldn't get you approved on those terms. We're going to need you to give us another $5,000 down in cash. We couldn't get the 0%, but we can get you 19.5% interest. We can't give you $5,000 on your car. We can give you $3,000 on your car. Now, when are you going to bring us our money? What would you say to that? You can't say anything. You agree to that. In the state of Colorado, there's something called a writ of rescission clause in your car contracts. And it says that they have a right to change the terms and you agree to them. So if you take what is called a conditional delivery of a car, and that's what spot delivery is, a conditional delivery, they have a right to call you back and get you to pay more. And if you've had the car a week, if they sold your trade-in, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. And guess what? If they tricked you, and if they sold you a car that has been wrecked, and if it turns out that they had a bad salesman waiting on you who was just around for a while and took your $1,000 deposit and ran away with it in cash, you have no recourse against that car dealership. About 4 o'clock, the toughest, and I think the cruelest thing happens at the dealership. How many of you have seen an ad, or heard an ad, and it says, got a credit problem? No problem. Come see us, Tom, the credit fixer, we're your pals. Why would a car dealership advertise for people with bad credit? For one reason. They know that if you either have bad credit or you think you have bad credit, you will take anything they give you just to get financed. In a great recording, we quote out of it, out of the latest edition of my book on this. This guy's talking about one of these places. He says, yeah, we advertise a Corvette to them. We say, come in. We let them dream. We let them go look at the car, and then we sit them down, and this is what we do. We see how much cash we can get from them, how much cash they can get from their aunts or their uncles or a small loan house. We take that cash, and then we go find the biggest piece of junk we can find, and then we sell it to them, and we charge them a lot of interest in finance for 4 or 5 years. I just did a major national report on this called Fair Driving for the Annie Casey Foundation that is being used nationally right now to look at how subprime lending is destroying the chances of low-income people to get cars out there. So credit fixer's job is not to help you. The credit fixer's job is to find a way to make a more profit. If you have any credit problem, if you think you may, if you've been 30 days late on a payment, don't go to a car dealership, come to this credit union and do a reality checkup. In fact, you all should do that. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. The worst thing you can do, or anyone you know can do, is if you have a credit problem, is go to the car dealership to help solve that. That would make a lot of money. I was part of 2 pretty important lawsuits in this country on this issue. In Dallas, Texas, I was part of a lawsuit against Grubbs, Lincoln Mercury, one of the big chains in Texas. Grubbs was being sued for keeping a person who could not speak or hear anything at a dealership for 15 hours and not letting him go on his birthday until he bought a car. He had a nervous breakdown. And he sued. And guess what? I was an expert witness for the dealership saying these are normal techniques at a car dealership. Can you believe that? In Miami, Florida, a 78-year-old woman was kept at a dealership for 12 hours. They wouldn't give her her keys back. That's called divorcing you. Finally, she sneaked out of the office, ran over to the manager's office, and got her keys, drove outside, and then drove around the dealership and drove through the dealership showroom at 35 miles an hour. At which point they arrested her, but she eventually filed a suit and won millions of dollars against that dealership. Get a good retired couple and a dealership is happy. They have some sayings. This is at the best dealership. Keep them in that, they call it the box. Keep them in the box until they buy or they die. Or better, you go back to that well until there's not a drop of water left in it. You are the well and the water is your pocketbook. The job of selling is not to look upon you as a person who's trying to save money. You can't, you'll go broke. The job of selling anything is to lift away from that and to be able to sell to you without thinking about that. And the car business is just tougher than anybody else. Let me tell you what the good piece of news is. This is the easiest thing to stop in the world. And there's never been an easier time to buy a car right now if you will do it our way and slow down, okay? The first important thing about that, if you get confused in what I'm going to show you, even after you go online and all that, you can pick up the phone and call the phone center. You can talk with our car people we've got here. You can stop in any office and talk with someone, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to try to help you gather information and not press you. That makes a big difference. We're going to show you a different way to do things, and this means negotiating skills are not needed. In the car business, everything is negotiable. We know the price of the car is negotiable. The value of your old car is negotiable. I have a perfect right to look you in the eye. I know your trade-in is worth $5,000 in cash because I just had it appraised. Somebody said, I'll pay you $5,000 for it. I have a right to look you in the eye that second and say, I'll give you $3,000 for your car. It's called lowballing, completely legal. Cost of money is completely negotiable. A dealership has a perfect right to finance the car cheaply, but they don't want to and they don't plan to anytime soon. The cost of all these insurances and service agreements is entirely negotiable. Subject of a great class action I'm involved in now. A woman walks into a dealership in Chicago, buys a service agreement on a car for $895. Her daughter buys virtually the same car 3 hours later and is charged $2,300 for the same service agreement. Guess what's completely legal to do out there? Everything is negotiable. The cost of add-ons is negotiable. I have a right to look you in the eye and you say you want a stripe on the car. I can pick the price out of the air for that price if I want to. Everything is negotiable. We give you a different way of going about this and stopping that. Let me tell you this. If money matters to you, if this is what this is about, the minute you get in the market for a car, lock yourself in the house, okay? Slow down. Forget advertising. Forget rushing to look at cars. Forget how good they smell. That goes away real fast, okay? Slow down and do it a different way. We teach you that you need to let your budget, not your emotions, drive what you do in the car business. That is not the way we buy normally. The car business is emotionally driven in every way. That will destroy you, okay? And it's destroyed many people.